and evolution. So stay tuned and hear the entire lecture to get beneficial out of it. And this is a very important topic. Dihybrid cross is a very important topic from Mendel's, isn't it? And last class I have already discussed about the monohybrid cross and Mendel's law. So hope you have understood that concept, that same concept will be required in the dihybrid cross. So be patient, watch the entire video lecture to get clear concept about it, and this is a very important topic. So without any delay, let's start with the topic dihybrid cross. So let's start with the topic dihybrid cross. It's a very interesting topic and it is a very important topic as well. So this was given by Mendel's law. Clear? Mendel, this is the right hand side, a figure has been given for Mendel. And last class we have discussed about the monohybrid cross. They have taken two characters, dwarf and tall, isn't it? Hope you remembered that lecture. And now we'll start with dihybrid cross. Now see, for dihybrid cross, first we have to take dihybrid. The word di means two and hybrid means mixing, isn't it? So here they have taken two characters. One is, you can see, they have taken capital Y, capital R, and small y, small r, and small r. From this concept, we know that dominant are written as capital letter and recessive are written as small letter, isn't it? So that's why they have taken, one is the color of the seed, another is the shape of the seed. Clear? So for shape, they have taken two different phenotype. One is round, another is wrinkle. So for round, round is the dominant, they have taken capital R and capital R for round, and wrinkle, it's a recessive character, so that's why they have taken smaller and smaller. Clear? And one more character they have taken color. One is yellow, another is green. So yellow is dominant, that's why they have taken capital Y and capital Y, and green, that means small y and small y. So here two characters have been taken, two traits. Clear? One is shape, another is color. So we know from the Mendel's law that gametes, when the parent, like one is male, another is female, in the parental generation, when gametes will be produced, it will be haploid, isn't it? So from capital Y and capital R and capital R, two will come out, that is one capital Y and one capital R. And from small y, small r, one small y and small r will come, and it will form a recombinant variety in F1 hybrid. You can see capital Y, small y, capital R and small r. You can write it reverse also, capital R, small r, capital Y and small y. Clear? Anyway you can write. Similarly for parental also, they have taken capital Y and capital R, isn't it? You can take capital R, capital Y, any arrangement, isn't it? So now this one is selfed, capital R, small r, capital Y and small y. These are selfed. Selfing is done, self-pollination is done. So you can see this is the same concept as in Mendel's law, like monohybrid cross also, Punneth's checkerboard is done. So see this one here, you have to understand very nicely. From here, capital Y, small y, capital R, small r, here independent assortment takes place. You have studied in the last class, isn't it? That means they will produce four different types of phenotype, four different types of gametes. They will produce four different types of gamete. Like you can see, like you see from F1 hybrid, there is capital Y, capital R and small r. So the gametes it will produce is capital Y and capital R, one gamete, then capital Y and small r, one gamete, then small y and capital R, one more, then small y and small r. So here on top you can see four gametes in the horizontal position and vertically four, isn't it? So this 4 and 4 after crossing they will give 16, isn't it? So you can see this similarly as that of Punneth's checkerboard you have done in the earlier class, the monohybrid cross. You can see all the crossings are done. So here you can see the phenotypic ratio of dihybrid cross is 9:3:3:1, isn't it? So the 9 is round yellow, phenotype is round yellow, and another 3 is there, 3 is green round, and another is yellow wrinkle, isn't it? and another one is green wrinkle. So these are the phenotype. And if I come to the genotype, isn't it, that is 1:2:2:4, 1:2, 1:2, and 1. So here you can see round yellow, the genotype, it will be capital R and capital Y, and there are variants. Clear? So these are the different crossings. You have to practice this crossing, this very important crossing. Clear? So whatever I have explained is given out here. Mendel took. Clear? So you'll read this. Whatever I have said, it's given out here only. And next you can see that same thing is told here. See the phenotypic ratio, it's have been they have told for F1 hybrid is the phenotypic ratio of F2 hybrid for dihybrid cross is 9:3:3:1, and the genotype I have said 1:2:2:4, 1:2, 1:2, and 1. Clear? Now what is the interpretation after Mendel's observation? Clear? After Mendel's have observed all this, what did Mendel interpret, or what conclusion did he gave, isn't it? See, he gave the conclusion that in a monohybrid cross, when a cross is made between the contrasting pair of trait, only one of the trait appear in the F1 generation, isn't it? Like we have seen in the monohybrid cross, tall and dwarf was crossed, and F1 hybrid that were produced is only one, that is tall plant, isn't it? But the dwarf character was there, but it was suppressed, isn't it? Because it was produced capital T and small t. Its phenotype is tall, hybrid tall, but the genotype is capital T and small t. Next point, what did he say? The trait which was not present in the offspring of a particular cross in F1 generation again reappears in the F2 generation. So we have seen that in monohybrid cross, the F1 hybrid was hybrid tall, isn't it? So there were no dwarf character, but those dwarf character were there. They were hidden, isn't it? They were in suppressed recessive state. These dwarf character was seen in F2 generation of monohybrid. Have you seen? One dwarf plant was produced, isn't it? Small t. That's what Mendel said. So these were the conclusion of monohybrid cross that Mendel gave, and what Mendel gave for dihybrid cross. The conclusion are as follows: like when for dihybrid cross, when combination of contrasting traits of two traits were taken, only one variety of each trait appears in the F1 generation, isn't it? And the other variety of each trait appears in the F2 generation on the same line of dihybrid cross. However, the presence of two new combination of the two contrasting pair of trait in F2 generation is also seen. So this line, have you understood here? The same thing they have said, like they have taken what? As parent they have taken crossing round yellow and wrinkle green, isn't it? But the two more recombinants were produced, see, green round and wrinkle green. Clear? Sorry, green round and wrinkle yellow, two variants, like 3 and 3, isn't it? F2 generation is phenotypic character of F2 generation 9:3:3:1. So 9 and 1, those are the parental character, but the 3:3. So here you can see 3 green and round, and another 3 is yellow and wrinkle. So these are the variants that had came. That's what Mendel has said. Now student, let me tell you the difference between monohybrid and dihybrid cross. See, first difference is in monohybrid cross, one character is studied and considered. In dihybrid cross, two independent character are considered and studied, as well as a single pair of gene is involved in monohybrid cross, whereas in dihybrid cross, two pairs of genes are involved, as well as the phenotypic ratio of monohybrid cross is 3:1, whereas the phenotypic ratio of dihybrid cross is 9:3:3:1, isn't it? As well as one more, genotypic ratio also varies in monohybrid cross, that is 1:2:1, whereas the genotypic ratio of dihybrid cross is 1:2:2:4, 1:2, 1:2, and 1. Clear? This is the genotypic ratio of dihybrid cross. One more difference they have given, like for monohybrid, it is important for determining the dominance relationship of the allele for monohybrid cross, and for dihybrid cross, it is important for assessing the independent assortment of the allele. Clear? So law of dominance is better proved in monohybrid cross. They show the dominance, as they can be also seen in dihybrid cross as well, but independent assortment can only be seen in dihybrid cross. Clear? when F1 hybrid capital R small r and capital Y small r produces gamete, 4 different types of gametes, isn't it? And one more definition they have given, like monohybrid cross is a genetic cross between homozygous individual with different allele for single gene locus of interest, whereas dihybrid cross is a cross between genetic cross between individuals with different allele for two gene loci of interest. So student, these are the homework questions. You will do this after you hear the lecture. You'll be able to do. 1. Show the crossing of Mendel's dihybrid cross till F2 phenotypic ratio. Just now I have explained the F2 phenotypic ratio. Entire dihybrid cross you will draw. You will complete this in your bio classwork copy till F2 generation. And next question is, what are the difference between monohybrid cross and dihybrid cross? So thank you student, this was all about today's lecture. I have explained in detail about dihybrid cross. So we are over with Mendel's law, monohybrid cross and dihybrid cross. Clear? So next day also we'll continue with the chapter. So study at home, stay safe, and these lectures are very important. Don't skip and see the video and watch the entire video to gain the basics out of it. Thank you class. Again we'll meet in the next class. Thank you.